Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about phase issues and what it means when two things are out of phase and what problem it causes. Okay, so here I have two sine waves and one of them is panned right and one is panned left. Okay, so if I just solo this right channel here and hit record, we can see the sine wave in the right channel. If I turn on the left channel and hit record, we now see the sine wave on the left channel. And these two sine waves are perfectly in phase with each other. What that means is the peaks and the troughs of the left and the right channel are lining up perfectly. But what if we want a nice stereo image? To create a stereo image, you have to have a difference between the left and the right channel. And that difference could be in the form of a delay or maybe a difference in pitch. Whatever it might be, that will cause sound to feel stereo. And if you're in headphones now, you will notice this especially, but maybe on an iPhone you won't, so make sure that you're on a nice stereo system. So if I start to make a difference between the left and the right channel, for example, changing the pitch, we are now hearing what feels like a wider stereo image. I'm just going to set this back to 0. But what can often happen is two waveforms simply are out of phase, and this can create a big problem, especially in low frequencies. And I'm going to intentionally make that phasing issue here. So I'm going to hit record now, and I'm going to start dragging this phase to the left, and you're going to see the peaks and the troughs of the two waveforms go out of phase with each other. Okay, so now we have two waveforms that are completely out of phase. The peak and the trough are lining up with each other instead of the two peaks lining up with each other. And this is not really an issue in stereo, especially in stereo on headphones, because the waveforms never meet with each other, so they don't create any issue. They go into your ears and then they don't go anywhere else. On speakers, it creates a little bit of an issue, but I can still hear the signal, I can still hear the sine waves. But what happens if we sum this to mono? What happens is we're taking the value of this peak and the value of this trough and we're summing them, we're adding them together. And because they are at exactly the same volume, what's happening is we are ending up with a value of 0, so it's going to be completely silent. And how I'm going to visualize this is I'm just going to turn on the utility here so it gets summed to mono, and I'm going to hit record. Boom, complete silence. And we get it back. So you can see how this can be a huge issue, especially when you're dealing with things like sub basses and you have a sub bass that sounds like it's stereo. The reason it could be sounding like that is maybe because the left and the right signals are out of phase, and then you get these big problems with your sub sounding like it's less powerful when it gets summed to mono. Or you might notice big like dips or waves like pumping in the sub, especially if like the two waveforms are slightly detuned. Okay, so now you understand the problem, and you can probably come up with many different ways now to solve the issue because you understand the problem. For example, if I wanted to solve this phasing issue, I could go back into Serum here and just set the phase back to 180 degrees so that they become back in phase. That would work. Another thing that we could do is, if we didn't have control over Serum, and let's say we were doing this on our master channel, is we could invert the phase of the left and the right, or just the left, so that the waveform almost flips around and becomes in phase again. Let me turn this mono off and then we can visualize it. So here we've got the left and the right now out of phase again, and we can flip the phase of the left by doing this. And now you can see the left waveform is being inverted and they're perfectly in phase again. Okay, so that's it. You should now understand what phase cancellation is and what phase means, and have all the tools necessary to go out and solve any phasing issues that your track might have. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.